Hi guys, this is going to be a very quick update. I actually done a trading view stream yesterday, so there's not really that much more to say. But in essence, for those of you that are watching on YouTube rather than trading view, I thought I'm just going to cover a little bit of the same information. Okay, so in essence, I've started off with this particular post because I think this one is quite key in terms of what's happening, kind of why it's happening, right? So this was a post I posted back in March, and I guess the logic behind this is part of what we are teaching in the Discord server, and why the money flow is kind of useful to understand, but what this means when you can combine this with the bigger perspective. Okay, so utilizing the Elliott waves, getting the COT data, gathering the information to give you the bias, and then using other techniques like the money flow to actually understand where we go next, why. Okay, so starting off with, look, the general idea is that there was massive liquidity up above, and this little grey box at the bottom is what I like to call the auction area. Okay, so skip forward, you'll see what we've actually gone and done. We've moved into the liquidity, we've tagged liquidity to the upside, suckered new long positions in, and then ultimately dropped straight into. And I think, as Paul has mentioned in a couple of his streams, just like this candle over here, the end of the start of December, the end of 2021, I think we actually had some panic sell off, which caused this. Now, for me, there was definitely a seller's climax in this as a situation, which means it could easily be the A. It could easily give us a schematic 2 type scenario in terms of Wyckoff. And that's really I suppose, the preferred option for where I'm seeing things at the moment. Okay. Now, what I'll do is I'll cover a few other bits and pieces that I've put in right now. I've already talked about this as a much bigger accumulation pattern. Now, I don't think this is the one that takes us to 100K, right? And I'll come into this in a second. I think, as I just said, I think for me, A is potentially in. Okay. I don't see that as the C. Lots of people have come to me and said, oh, I think this, I think that. Think what you want. I think personally, seeing what we've done, knowing the percentages that you're likely to see from a large scale move up, and although it was truncated, you still have to understand that the move up monthly 5 hasn't occurred yet, right? The monthly 3 was the weekly 5. And the fact that we've come down after the big truncated weekly 5 move would probably give us a high probability of a zigzag type move, right? And therefore, this current situation I'm seeing as an accumulation phase for a B. Okay. Now, I've said this for weeks, months on this particular move, right? And this is on the back of calling the tops why we were looking back in August last year as a peak above 65K, sucking new longs in, and straight back down under 40K. We've done exactly that right now. Just because we've sat here for a long period of time, it doesn't mean that it has to be finished, it has to be the end, it has to be over with. For that, you got to look into the COT information and understand why the big boys are selling off right now, what they're selling off, and how much stock they still have in terms of profit taking. Okay. Now, the trick is for me with this, I think we come up then B, right? Now, I'm not talking about the levels right now, I'm just saying we're talking the B. And then I think what we're actually going to see is back down for the final C. Okay. Now, this C will actually give us the end of the zigzag, right? So you can expect a 3-phase move ABC, and then back down for the C. And what we'll actually see within this move is some kind of larger scale spring move, if this is indeed the selling climax. Okay. So in essence, I'm seeing a much larger Wyckoff accumulation phase take place, a smaller accumulation phase in this region, but not something that's going to be likely to take us, 100K and beyond. Okay. So they're the main points really that I've covered. Now, as I said, right, over the last year, We've had some really good moves. I've really appreciated seeing Bitcoin becoming institutionalized in front of my eyes, really, and to see it, respecting the key levels, to see it doing what it's doing. It's just been phenomenal to actually watch. Now, over the last year, we've been running obviously the Discord server. We've just opened up our lifetime membership again as an anniversary kind of gift. We're not really going to publicize it. It's just something that we're going to mention in one or two of the streams and then ultimately lock it down within the next couple of days. So, in essence, the things that we teach in, I guess, behind the scenes is the kind of things that kind of joins the pieces together, right? Now, in terms of an accumulation, this is the type of pattern that I'm seeing, right? We're obviously not there yet. We're not looking at this as, exact levels, exact numbers for the whole thing. Like I said, whether or not this was the seller's climax on the smaller one or the bigger one, right? That's still up for debate at the moment. Personally, I like this as the option, but I'm going to keep this, um, I suppose, kind of behind yeah, I suppose behind wraps at the moment in terms of really kind of, I suppose, getting behind it. I think I like it, but I'm not 100% convinced that this is the play just yet. Okay. We've definitely moved into that higher support resistant levels, right? This is the money flow. This is where we kind of tag back into. The wake off levels, I mean, this goes back all the way. We were calling this at the top here, right? This is back in October last year. Um, and the forecasted levels, I mean, I thought this would have been ideal, to go there from the A, the B, the C. There's a few reasons why we could potentially see that as ABC. I'm just not a fan on that still, right? And I think for me, it's not the fact that we have to be done because of the time duration. We have to be done when the COT data says that the big boys have had enough in terms of the prices. They've accumulated enough at these lower down prices. Okay. The wake up schematic, as I've put in the last couple of posts on TradingView, you'll see why we were calling this, the top here, why this was the bottom there, why this was the top again. And what we actually did was distribute. Okay, so it all gels together, right? And I know this is very difficult if you don't understand what I'm showing you, but this is part of what, like I said, we teach. This is part of the reason that we teach and what we teach is to get an appreciation, not just to say, hey, buy now or sell now. It's for you guys to understand how you get these key levels, why you paint these levels, and when and how you can identify whether or not it's distribution or accumulation or redistribution, reaccumulation, and so on. Okay, so I'm just actually flicking through some of what I've got here. This is a nigh angle. Now, you can see how well respected these levels are. We've sat at this. This is just confluence for me in terms of much, much bigger picture. So I think for me, as I said right at the start, I think for me, this is A, potentially accumulating. A to B, we should see then an impulsive move B. That will sucker a lot of the retail traders into the move, thinking, hey, we're near 50K. This is, half a hundred, as Carl keeps saying. And it's a psychological level for guys who don't really understand technical analysis. So I think in the grand scheme of things, where we are right now is micro accumulation to B, distribution or redistribution back B to C. And then at that particular stage, I think we've got the long haul, big picture play that I'd actually be happy to take, sit, hold. And that's probably a couple of years worth of a rally in terms of the Bitcoin move. Okay. Now, there's other factors, things like DXY. There's other factors to consider when looking at this particular point, and we've covered that again for subscribers only in terms of the forex side of it, including DXY and how that is going to play out, why it's going to be playing out, and what that means for this A to B move in terms of Bitcoin. Okay, so I'm going to leave that where we are for now. Like I said, I done a stream yesterday. If you didn't watch it, go back and watch on TradingView. Like I said, we've just opened up the lifetime for a couple of days. So if you are interested in that, it's going to be limited places, limited time. Yeah, after that, obviously watch Paul's streams, and I'll see you in one of my next ones. Thanks for watching, guys.